Afrocentric woman. All right, I am alive. Okay. Welcome to the Afrocentric woman. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey y'all. I had absolutely every intention of going live last night cuz I was so excited about my night that I literally wanted to just like jump online and just talk to you ladies last night. I was so exhausted. I literally just passed out. Um I think I passed out in like whatever I was wearing. And I'm one of those people to where like I cannot sleep in street clothes. I cannot sleep with makeup on. So I woke up and took a shower and like changed into my PJs, but like that's how exhausted I was. So that didn't work out, but I was excited about my night. So let me tell you about my night. Yesterday, I started off at a members only event for the symphony orchestra. Um, that is something that I joined in order to meet other people. My age is kind of like a bit of an age gap group because they have a group of like younger patrons, and sometimes we mingle with like some of the like bigger donors to the orchestra. And so it's a really great way to meet people your own age, and it's also a great way to meet like established people who are support the arts, who support the fine arts. So I think that that was a really good investment, and it's worth every single penny. So if there's anything like that in your city, definitely look into it, like the fine arts, rather it be ballet, the symphony orchestra, opera, uh, a museum, or an arts district or a gallery. Look into those memberships and private clubs because it definitely gives you a chance to mingle with people that you normally wouldn't be able to mingle with, and you have a common topic in mind, which is whatever the art is. So you really kind of don't have to think too much about what to talk about because you can talk about the art. Even if you just have a bunch of questions about it, people like, to talk about themselves and about their areas of expertise. So you could just ask lots of open-ended questions and let them go on and on and on about the art. So, anywho, I joined one of these like patron groups, and it's been really super beneficial. And I had a lovely night. I met with a super sweet young lady who's organizing it, and we were able to kind of get some business things going. And she wants me to help organize to try to get especially more Black women involved in this group. And so she and I are going to get together about that. I met some, people that I had seen at another event before. Like I liked seeing them again. Because usually it takes people about anywhere from like 8 to 20 times of seeing you before they really, really get comfortable with you. So it's always great to put yourself in an environment where you can keep seeing the same group of people over and over and over again. So, so that was that. And after the event, I decided, you know what? I'm already dressed. I look good. I feel good. Um, I'm hungry. I should go eat dinner. I wanted to go have dinner by myself. And and I decided like I'm not gonna go home. Like I still have my babysitter and I can just, it's just worth it. Let me just pay the extra money and just do something for myself. So I was going by this one sushi place. It was a mayhem. It was literally mayhem outside. And I've been wanting to go to this place, but they book out, anywhere between 3 months, pardon me, 3 weeks and 5 weeks in advance. And I never think that far ahead. I usually think like, I'm hungry today. What do I want right now? Or I might think, oh, it's Wednesday. I want to go out to dinner on Saturday. Like, where do I want to go? I don't think like, oh, 3 Saturdays from now, what do I want? But honestly, if I want to go to this place, that's how I need to think. I need to think like 3, 4, 5 weeks in advance. Anywho, it was such a zoo outside, and there was a long line for the valet, and the parking lot was completely full. And I just didn't want to gamble on going through all the drama of trying to park or valet only to get in there and not be able to find anywhere to sit down and eat. So I decided, today's not my day. I'm just going to go back to my neighborhood bar, which keep in mind, my neighborhood bar is like a super upscale bar. It's not a hole in the wall at all. It's not a dive bar. Like my local bar is upscale. And like people come from wherever, like different parts of the city to come hang out there. But for me, it's in the neighborhood, it's right up the street. So I consider it my neighborhood bar. So I was like, no, 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 no. I'm going to my tried and true place. I know what I want. I know what I want on the menu. Like I know the wine list. I know some of the bartenders. I know a couple of the servers. Like, no, I'm just going to go where I feel comfortable. So I go in and I kind of make my, round. I go to the bathroom, which gives me an opportunity to like see who all is in the lounge that night. And then I kind of, peep it and all the guys were sitting at the bar. There were uh probably 6 or 7 guys sitting at the bar. So I prance my little cute self up there, okay? And I'm gonna sit at the bar, okay? So I sit at the bar next to this lovely man with like salt and pepper hair. And he gives me this lame line. He was like, "You're late, but I'm so glad you finally got here." And I chuckled. And he was like, "I'm so sorry, that's all I've got." So I had to help him out. I was like, "Well, you can start off with how are you? How are you?" And so we just started chatting and talking and it just was going really, really well. Well, it turns out there's like 4 really popular restaurants, in my city, and, he owns those restaurants. And, in addition to those restaurants, he owns, like, 6 fast food restaurants um, in a different state, the state that he used to live in before he moved here. So, plus I knew like, he told me where he lived, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, I know exactly where that is." So, I'm already, I'm already running everything in my head. I'm already running everything in my head. But anywho, we had like a really good conversation and he asked for my number. He asked if he could send me his card. He had like a digital card he wanted to send me and so I said, "Cool." I took his number and then or no, rather he texted me his digital card. And so then today he texted me today and I was like, "Gosh, I really hope I hear from him again because I don't want to reach out to him. I'd rather him reach out to me." Well, he reached out to me today. He wants to take me out on a date and I will probably go out with him on Saturday. So, super excited about that. Now I'll tell you some interesting things that came up in our conversation. He was married for like 25 years and he told me that one of the best women he ever dated in his life was a black woman. And he said the only reason why the relationship didn't work out was because they were just in different places. Like he had just come out of an extremely long marriage and wasn't ready to get married again. And she really, really, really wanted to get married. So, I mean, I feel like I've heard this story before. There's another guy I was talking to. Well, he told me that the love of his life was a black woman and he dated her and her family had a problem with them, but he said he would have married her for sure. But her family gave her a hard time. And I just, I asked very probing questions. I didn't want to get into like race drama and race politics, but I did just really want to hear exactly like who was the one like causing problems and like who was the one meddling in the relationship. And she was like uncles and cousins and I'm like, the crazy thing about that situation is I bet you that woman is somewhere, probably a single mom, probably struggling, probably, you know, you know, just, have been brought through the ringer by the situation. And this guy, I mean, I didn't want to date him. I don't know if I told y'all that story or not, but I decided I didn't want to date him. But he has like a really nice house in a really nice area, very affluent area over here with like a pool and a jacuzzi and it's, all the things, and is a um is a chief technology officer for a company, a startup company that's doing really well, that's probably going to sell to a bigger company, in which case he'll be able to cash out and like get all his equity into stocks. And anywho, it just would have been a sweet deal for her, and she was the love of his life anyway. And it just made me think, like, I just wonder how many black women are, you know, letting their families like mess up their life, with this BS. And I just feel like black women get this, like, you can't, date whoever you want, but like I don't know that these family members are scolding black males about whoever they want to be with. They just do whatever they want. But anyway, hindsight is 2020. But yeah, that guy told me that, and I've had other guys tell me that too. Like, side note, this is probably not like the best thing. Honestly, it's probably not. But the main guy, he's back again. Oh my gosh, he's back again. Anyway, he's a Gen Xer, and is he loves black women. Of course, I mean, obviously, but even the woman that he was dating, like, after me, like the placeholder girl, I feel sorry for her because I feel sorry that she was a placeholder, but it is what it is. But anyway, the placeholder girl, she was a black woman. I mean, even though she was a placeholder, I know how he rolls, so it's not like she wasn't like going on nice dates and stuff. Although I'll say this. He told me that he went to Papados for lunch one day, and I already knew he was with that girl. So I was like, okay, she and I are not built the same, because he and I would never ever go to Papados. It just wouldn't happen. But different strokes for different folks. She's probably just on a different level, like, you know what I mean? Everybody's not, there's levels to bouginess and all that jazz. So she probably is just like not as over the top as me, and he probably thought that, oh, this girl is cheaper, she likes Papados, she likes cheaper stuff, like, oh, this is manageable, like I should be happy with this. And then it's like, oh, this girl over here is expensive and she likes five-star this and that, and she's all extra. But it's like at the end of the day, the excitement and the beauty and the allure and all of the things that come with the more expensive option is what you end up going for anyway. So why you wasted your time, why you wasted her time, I don't know. But nonetheless, here we are. And anyway, we had a very extravagant, expensive date, because why not? Anyway, back to this other guy. But so the whole point of me telling you about this guy was that I told y'all there are a lot of Generation X white guys that just never had the opportunity to either date a black woman, but they've always been attracted to black women. Or black women were dismissive of them or hostile, or just um, sort of like just ignoring them or whatever, or they just never thought it was the case. Sometimes I feel like guys just played it safe too, like, well, this is what people expect of me. They expect, let's say that they're Catholic. Oh, like, I'm Italian Catholic, so my family expects for me to be with an Italian Catholic girl. So even though that's not, I really like black women, I'm just going to do what my family expects me to do. And so they go through this whole da 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 da. They have these marriages for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. And then they're like, you know what? Life is for living. I want to do what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to live my life the way I want to live my life, and I'm not living my life for other people anymore, because I've already done that for 20 years. Now I'm living my life for what I want, and those guys go after black women. So if you are, you know, age appropriate to date a Gen X guy like that, then definitely keep your eyes open for that demographic because there are many, many, many of them that have always desired to be with Black women and just think Black women are just they just love everything. I mean, everything. Um, everything. So, and you'll get treated really, really well. The only downside I would say is exactly what this guy said is that a lot of these guys are not ready for marriage. They may never get married again. So I don't know about long term anything if that's what you want, but if you haven't had a lot of experience being treated like a princess and being wined and dined and being flown across wherever and going on expensive resorts and staying at really nice hotels and if you've never if you haven't done that, I mean, girl, they're here for it, okay? They're here for it. So, yeah, so that's that. And I, it made me kind of think too, and I mean, not even just this particular, these most recent conversations that I've been having with a lot of these Gen X guys. It's just kind of like thinking about what am I doing with my channel? Like, what have I been doing? Like, what is my body of work? Honestly, the type of dating that I promote on my channel is experimental dating. I promote the type of dating that helps you experience life and all that it has to offer you, luxury, upgraded experiences, um, where you'll be in environments and with a man that will cherish you and treat you respectfully and kindly and cater to you and invest in you and show you a really good time. Um, yeah. So could you find a husband? Yeah, it's possible. But I think, a lot of these guys are not necessarily with that type of mindset, honestly. So, the younger you are, definitely the more I think chance you have for um the marriage option because guys have not like been there, done that. Like when a guy has been there, done that, he might commit and he might invest heavily in you, but he may never be wanting to get married again. Or he may not want to get married on the time frame that you want to get married. He might, or you might want children and his kids are grown. So, uh, I'm just those are I guess there are the disclaimers about this particular demographic. But for some of us who are like late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, it's perfect. Like go for it. And even for some of the younger ladies, if you're not weirded out by dating someone of that age group, it still will open up a whole, like, just a whole different world, um, to you. Like the real estate guy that I talked to, could tell me about all that kind of stuff. And um, today he was talking to me about going to get his will revised because his kids, are both grown now. And so just kind of talking with him and thinking about like, oh yeah, well, those are definitely important things to do in a will, especially if you have children. But it's just like when you deal with that caliber of man who is just like, affluent and on point and is thinking about generational wealth, or they've already set up trust and wills and life insurance and all of these things, for their children, and they're just on that level. It's just good to be able to just talk and learn, um, and glean whatever information that you can get, and have support. And also, um, the financials and the access that you get to just different experiences that you may not be able to afford on your own. And even if you can afford them on your own, you can take your money and put it in the savings account and spend his money on those things that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Okay, so then back to this millionaire guy that I met. Um last night. So, one of the things that I'm really working on right now, not just with men, but with like people in general, is that I'm working on asking more questions, um, and just listening more and remembering things that people say and referring to them. So, whether it be their name, making sure to repeat their name, or if they talk about their dog, they're like, "Oh, Scruffy, da 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 da," and then like maybe 5 minutes later, bring up Scruffy again, so that they know that you were listening to them about what they said. And like whatever is important to people, like especially when you're dealing with white people, they love their freaking dogs. I'm not a dog person at all, okay? But whatever, like to each their own. I understand that they really love the dogs. So if they really like take their whole dog serious, if you can remember stuff about the dog and be like, even if you're like, oh, is it time to take Scruffy out? Or like, just, are you gonna put him in a kennel? Or when you travel, like, do you take it, like just anything about the dog, you're automatically gonna get like kudo points, and you're gonna be seen as a person who listens and who cares about the things that they care about. And so it could be it could be anything else as well. So that's a skill that I've been thinking about. It's been in the top of my mind, and I feel like I really was able to employ that last night when I met him, and also when I met people at the event, um, the backstage event. I was also able to just kind of listen and ask questions, and just ask people, where are you from, where are you going, how are things going, like what brought you here tonight, those kinds of like open-ended questions to just build rapport. I didn't really realize how what's the word, I don't know, like I felt like before I knew that that's the thing to do, is to like ask lots of questions. But I think I was thinking, I know that that's important, but I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing it. And I don't know if it was anxiety or whatever, or just force of habit. But I've just been extremely intentional, um, about that lately, about just slowing down and remembering, ask questions, wait, pause, listen, um, allow people to talk and express themselves. And that's how people, think that you're a cool person. They're like, oh my God, that's like such a cool person. Because most people are just getting like blabber about themselves a lot. Um, so millionaire restaurateur guy from last night, he had to go because he had to go let his dog out. Um, he had to go let his dog out, but he paid for my food and I had no idea. So I'm still like eating my dinner, and I asked the bartender if he could give me my check. And he was like, "Oh, that guy paid for your food." I was like, "Really?" Excuse me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Um, I was like, "Oh my gosh, really? I had no idea." He's like, "Yeah, did he take off?" I was like, "Yeah, he left. He had to go." He was like, "Yep, you're good. Everything's taken care of." And I was like, "Oh, that was so sweet." It was so sweet and so unexpected, because I kind of had to like change my mindset about like paying for drinks and paying for food on the first go around. Because I used to be, I mean, and I am, it just depends on the situation if I'm going to be a stickler for that or not. But for when the money is long, I'm not a super stickler, because I think a lot of those guys are not thinking about little petty things like a drink or food. Like they're just not, you know, they're not thinking about that. Because I remember once I was with my girlfriend, and we were actually at that same bar, and we met this guy, and he was talking to both of us, and in my mind he was getting on my nerve. He was literally getting on my nerves. He was getting on my nerves, just talking, and he never offered us a drink, never offered us a drink. We ordered our own drinks. The bill came, he watched my friend pay for it, never offered anything, never offered a thing. And I was just like, I was like, I'm about to go outside, I'll wait on you. So she was like, well, I'm coming, I'm coming. So she was still like talking to this guy. And I walk outside because I'm irritated with him. I'm too through with the fact that he has been talking and talking and talking. And he watched her pull her credit card out of her wallet and pay for our stuff. And at that point, I was too through. I needed to exit stage left. Long story short, she ended up meeting that guy the next week for dinner. He brought her $2,000 in cash. So I say all that to say, you know, sometimes guys, when they have a whole lot of money, they're not necessarily thinking about the little things because they're not trying to give you $30 for food. They're trying to give you way more than that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they're just kind of trying to see, like, are you somewhere where you can afford, like, do you belong here? You know what I'm saying? Are you comfortable here or are you just like trying to get a drink? Um, but yeah, that's rent. He just literally, brought her $2,000 like the next week, and the money that she's gotten since then, it's been quite insane. But that's a story for another day. So I just didn't know if like he was like on that type of time, and so I really wasn't pressing the issue because with the type of money he has, I'm not thinking about my food. Like my food is probably gonna be like $50 or something. Like I had like a glass of wine and some food. I'm not thinking about $50. I'm thinking about, you know, a private jet to St. Bart's. That's what I'm thinking about. You understand what I'm saying? I'm thinking about a travel nanny. I'm thinking about going to St. Bart's on private jet. I'm not thinking about $50 food. Like my mind is not even there. My mind is somewhere else. So it was a total surprise that he had paid for it. I wasn't expecting it. And I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about much bigger things than that. But yeah, it all worked out, and I was really happy to hear from him because there was another guy who was like super super wealthy. I looked up his dad. His dad passed away, but like before he passed away, he sold his company for $250 million, and he only had two kids, and so he gave all his money to his kids. So I know this guy's loaded, but um he just, I don't know, he has like some social skill problems, and it's just like he kind of called, kind of didn't, kind of was going to go out, kind of like, backed out at the last minute, and I'm like, I don't, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how much money you have. It's always going to be the same. You have to pursue a woman. I mean, it doesn't matter how attractive you are or how much money you have. That responsibility never goes away. You have to pursue a woman. Like, that's the only way a relationship or any dating, that's the only way anything can happen. So I was just kind of like, oh, bummed out. But you know what I said? And I think I told y'all. I said, if I can get him, I can get another one. Okay. And that's how it works. If you can get one millionaire, you can get another one. You just got to get the first one. If you can get one, you can get another one. So don't ever, fret and be like, "Oh, I have to like make this thing work." Like, no, if it works, great. But if it's not working, move on. Move on to the next one. Because if you can get that one, you can get another one. You can obviously. If you can pull one, you can pull another one. So, um, so that was my attitude about that. Like, oh, bummer, that sucks that it's not working out, but I'ma just get another one. Uh, all right. One of the subscribers says, I've been thinking about opening up my options. I'm in my early 30s. I think Gen X man would fit. Yeah, girl, do it. I would definitely do Gen X. I definitely would because, I mean, the thing about it is, if you miss, this is not 100% true, but in general, just generally speaking, a very broad stroke observation that I will give. Most of the men who are marriage material are married, right? By like mid to late 30s, early 40s, around that age, right? They're married and they're doing the whole marriage thing. It may or may not be a forever marriage, right? It may or may not be a forever marriage. But those guys, the ones who are marriageable, are married. So the 40-year-old guys who are roaming around dating are really not marriage material per se for the most part. Because if they wanted to be married, they would have been married a long time ago, right? Or literally, like, most guys, if they want to be married, they can be married within 6 months. If that's what they want, they can go out and find the woman that they want and marry her within like 6 months to a year. Why aren't they doing that? They're not doing that because they don't want to. They're playing around and whatever the case may be. So that's why when you try to date guys who are quote unquote age appropriate in their like 30s and 40s, that's why you keep hitting those, bumping up against those walls of like disrespect and like playing games and broke and stingy and think they're God's gift to women and and that kind of stuff. And like you can never really like get the type of experiences that you want, or, God forbid they take you on one little date and they think that you owe them the world. So there are a few, but I find them to be like few and far between, right? So then you have the guys who were marriageable back in the day when they were maybe late 20s, 30s, early 40s. Probably for most of these guys, a lot of these guys got married in their like late 20s, early 30s, right? So they did the marriage thing for like 20 years. It didn't work out. They split up the assets, and even after dividing the assets, they're still rich. They still got money, and now they're ready to live their life. Now they feel a little bit more bold and like wanting to do enjoyable things. Now they want to travel. Now they want to do this. They want to go to the nice places. They want to experience younger women. They want to experience the type of woman that they've always desired. They feel like I've worked so hard to get this money. Um, I want the best woman I can get. Like I want the hottest, most attractive, most interesting, fascinating woman that I can get that's going to be compatible for me. And so that whole demographic of guys is fun and has a lot of pros. I mean, you could totally make a chart of pros and cons, but lots of pros. But are they necessarily trying to get married anytime soon? A lot of them are not. Who is messaging me? Um, it's that millionaire guy is messaging me right now, but I think I'm done talking for the night. I'm done talking to him for the night. 'Cause I think we're gonna try to go out on Saturday, so I think I'll just text him back tomorrow so that we could talk about Saturday and what we're gonna do. So so that's that. Definitely open up your options, and um there's lots and lots and lots of guys that desire you. You're very desirable. So you just have to kind of be in the right place. Definitely go out. And, some ladies have asked on the channel, like, what about freestyling? What about going out in person? And I don't do a lot of it. I don't do a lot of going out in person. And that's why a lot of the content on the channel is heavily like dating app centric. But every now and then I go out. Every now and then I step out. And sometimes I step out and luck up on a good situation. Sometimes I go out, like, how many times have I been to that bar and it's been a total bust? I mean, I've been there and it's been a total bust. I've been there. That's where I met those Arab guys a few weeks ago or a couple months ago. Or maybe it's been a few months now. So that's where I met them, was there. And who else have I met? Oh yeah, there was that Caribbean guy that took care of my food. I'm trying, and then my friend met that guy, the one who gave her the $2,000 on the first date. She met him there. So it's like sometimes you win, sometimes you just, you don't win every time. But like don't be like, "Oh, every time I go out I never meet anybody, so I'm just never going to go out again." No, definitely do and try to go out by yourself. If I had been probably with a girlfriend, he probably wouldn't have talked. Like he and I literally just had a conversation. We talked about everything. We talked about his restaurants. We talked about his kids. We talked about his dog. We talked about his trainer. We talked about exercising. We talked about juicing. We had like a long conversation. We probably would not have sat there and had that conversation had I been there with a friend. You see what I'm saying? He probably would have felt like, "Oh, she's busy. She's, she's occupied. I don't want to intrude." So you have to put yourself in a situation to go out alone. Go out alone, to a sports bar or to a bar where like the thing about single guys is a lot of them don't want to eat alone, so they will go eat dinner at a bar. They'll eat literally at the bar because they don't want to sit at a table alone and they don't want to eat at their house alone. So they'll sit at the bar and have dinner and some drinks, watch a game, and then boot scoot on home. And the older ones, they don't be out all night. So you got to get out early. They go home 8, 9, they in the bed by 10. Okay. They in the bed by like 10 o'clock. So you got to hit up your places, right at happy hour, right thereafter, right at lunch. I mean, pardon me, right at dinner time where guys would be having dinner and roll up, be cute, and sit down and look approachable. And you just never know what can happen. You never know. Um, Yay! See, I need to start getting my positive, like some of you ladies, like y'all are telling me that y'all are applying my advice and it's working. And I just kind of anecdotally, like, I mean, it's not anecdotally because y'all are telling me that it's working, but I'm not compiling the positive, like the wins. But for this particular subscriber, she says, I got a nice Valentine's Day coming up because of your help. And I just want to tell you, you're so welcome. And I hope that you look fabulous on your date and you look cute and you have fun and you do something amazing. And I hope all you ladies have a great Valentine's Day. So far, what I have lined up is real estate guy has planned a Valentine's Day lunch because everything's booked up at night and he's got some stuff going on anyway. So we're gonna do lunch. I'm thinking I'm gonna do dinner with my main guy. I don't even really want to call him my main guy anyway, because I don't know what his new name is gonna be, but um we'll call him right now, we'll call him oldie but goodie. Oldie but goodie and I will probably do something that night. I told him, I was like, "You still owe me Christmas." Is that, let me see. Who is that? Um, okay. This guy was trying to get me to come out tonight, and I was like, "Listen, this is last minute. What are you trying to offer up for tonight? What would make me want to leave my house? It better be phenomenal." Uh, yeah. And I think I told y'all about the whole babysitter thing. Um, if I don't know a guy or if he's ever crossed me with money, I'm not leaving my house without the money. And that just is what it is. Like if I need babysitter money and I don't know you, you have to send me the money before I leave my house. You have to send me the money before I will even book the babysitter. Because last time I even had to apologize to her because who who I'm trying to think of what guy was it. Oh god, I don't even remember who it was. It definitely wasn't oldie but goodie. Oldie but goodie always comes through. He don't never okay, he always comes through with my money. He don't never give me no problems with money. He never does. So it definitely wasn't him. I don't remember who it was. Some guy literally begged me to go out with him and told me he was going to give me babysitter money. I just whoever it was is escaping me at the moment. Um And I agreed, and I had asked the babysitter, and she said she could come, and just making all this preparation. Oh, 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 oh! I know who it was. I know who it was. It was this guy who's like, he has like a house here, and he has a house in a different state, and he's like back in between both. Da 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 da. It was him. I think it was him and like another person. Like it was just these random guys that supposedly have money and like supposedly this and that, and I would get the babysitter, I would ask her, I would reserve her time, I would start making my preparations. There's all these things because there's her family that's involved. She has to tell her husband, "Hey, I'm leaving. I have a job tonight." She has to figure out what she's going to do with her kids, or she's going to bring them or let them stay. I have stuff going on. I have to prepare my child. There's just all this stuff that's put in motion. Once you say, "Hey, I want to take you out and I'll take care of your babysitter," it not only affects me, it affects her and her family. And so, like, I feel like it happened like 3 times where like people say, "Yes, I want to do it." And then they're like, "Oh no, this one thing came up," or, "Oh, you know what? I changed my mind," or they flake out. And it's like this woman reserved this time for me. So now she can't take another job. She would have to scramble to get a job at the last minute. So I just made the executive decision. I'm not reserving her time. I'm not asking her anything until you already send me the money. You got to send me the money and then I'll ask. But not the reverse, because I don't want to disrupt people's lives. I don't want to be inconsiderate to her. Also, she's a good babysitter. She's reliable, she's punctual, my daughter loves her. She I don't want to burn my bridge with the relationship by yes, no, yes, can you come? Oh, never mind. That's just it's petty, it's trifling, it's trashy. It's not the way I want to live my life. And so I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. So this guy's trying to get me to go out tonight. I was like, "Yep, you're gonna have to send me some money. Period. Need a babysitter, gotta do stuff, got stuff to do. You're gonna have to send me some money." Oh, but okay, well then I'm not going out. And that's just that. I'm not desperate for no date. I got enough dates lined up. I got a date tomorrow. I got a date on Thursday. I got a date on Saturday. Sir, I don't need a date tonight. Okay, you need the date. You want to see me. You're the one who needs the date. I don't need this date. I have plenty of dates lined up. So if you want to like take me out of my routine and take me, from resting and talking to my girls online on YouTube, where's the money? Because I listen, I'm in my happy place right now, chilling and talking to you ladies. I'm in my happy place. You're trying to take me out of my happy place. What is in it for me? A drink? Sir, I have a bottle of wine in my refrigerator. Okay? I have a bottle of wine in my refrigerator. Why do I need to brave the elements to go meet you and entertain you for a drink? I will pass respectfully. No, thank you. So, anywho, oh, let's see what the subscriber says. So excited to step into this new decade. Yay! I'm so glad that the channel has been of assistance to you. Happy early birthday, beloved, and I hope that you have a magnificent time. Um, you know, it's still a great age. Like 30 is a great age. I wish I knew what I know now at 30. If I knew what I know now at 30, oh my Lord, where would I be? It's so easy to get caught up in regret and shame and just like feeling like I've wasted so much effing time. But I don't ever dwell too much in that. I try to come right back to the present and just be grateful and thankful that I have the information now. I have the information now. Um, and I'm so happy that I'm able to share this information on this channel so that ladies in your 20s and 30s and whatever age you want to get started, literally whatever age you want to get started, that you just go ahead and get started on your journey, and that um you don't waste your time in struggle land and struggleville, because you don't have to. You don't have to. You can start living a luxury life now. And, um, I have a philosophy that I believe that men are here to take care of us. That's what I believe. You can fight me for it. You can argue with me about that principle, but it's what I believe. So that's how I live my life. I live my life in a way that is in alignment with that belief that men are here to take care of women. So I get taken care of. And that's that. Um, I need to do a little life update about housing, but I'll probably do a standalone live about that. Um, I'll probably do a standalone live about that because I'll kind of just walk y'all through some of my mindset with that. Subscriber says, girl, I feel like I've gone through a second puberty or something. I've invested in my looks, my fitness, I look the best I've looked, and I get so much attention now. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Yes, isn't it amazing? I mean, if you look at someone like Missy Elliott, like, look at Missy. Have you seen her lately? She's gorgeous. She looks younger than she did when she came out, back in the 90s. Um, and so that's what it's been like 30 years or so. So Black women absolutely have the ability to age backwards if we take care of ourselves. Now she's taking care of herself and, she's leveled up. Missy has leveled up right in front of us. And there's been a lot of other Black women that have leveled up right in front of us. So there's no reason why not. You know, However, wherever you want to start, wherever you want to start, wherever you want to start is fine. There's plenty of places to start. If you want to start with your fitness, you want to start with your makeup, you want to start with your hair, you want to start with whatever. Learning another language. Um, I think my one of my personal development things this year that's kind of serving a lot of, different it's kind of serving more than one purpose, like me and being involved with the symphony orchestra. It's like it's mentally stimulating to like listen to symphonic music. Number two, I get to meet people young and old, and I get to meet a lot of wealthy patrons that I normally would never be able to sit down and like break bread with these people. It puts me in luxury spaces, and it causes me to learn about these composers. It causes me to have to learn about the periods of time that this music was written, and like how many instruments are in there, and like, it causes me to just like have a little hobby, like figure out these things and learn these things. So that's a level up, right? That's leveling up artistically or like culturally. Now, I want to do a standalone live for like what I recommend for women in their 20s. But one thing I was thinking is that I definitely recommend that you travel. Travel, 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 travel. Please travel. Before you have children, travel. If you can get a remote job and travel, do it. Travel somewhere where it's cheap to live, like, you know, Indonesia, Thailand, um, Bolivia, Honduras, Belize. Where else is it relatively cheap to live? I mean, there's lots of places in Asia that it's relatively cheap to live. There's places in South America that are relatively cheap to live, or Caribbean that's relatively cheap to live. Go and travel. And don't just travel on vacation and go to a resort and twerk and take your pictures for Instagram and come back home. Go and like embed yourself in the culture. Learn a little bit of the language, learn a little bit about the culture, spend a good amount of time there. 3 months to a year or more. And just travel, travel, travel because I did a lot of that when I was in my 20s, and now I feel that I have a lot richer conversation. I feel definitely more cultured, more refined when people start talking about, traveling and speaking different languages, which, I learned Spanish, I learned a little bit of Portuguese, I learned a little bit of French. Um, you're in there, like you're in the game, and you just look so much more cultured when you travel. Because there's going to be a point once you have children and you kind of settle down, you're going to have less time to travel. Now there are nomadic traveling families, but that is a very unique lifestyle that a lot of people don't want to do. By the time a lot of times people have children, they're ready to kind of put down some roots and, develop community, get involved with a school or, that kind of a thing. So there are very few nomadic, traveling families, although there are some. So do all of your traveling while you are child free. You don't have any excuse because it's like, oh, well, I have an apartment and I have my car and I have my this and I have my that. And it's like, yeah, but you don't really have to keep that apartment, right? And yeah, you can always get a new car, right? Even if you have a house, yeah, you could probably rent it out or whatever and travel. Put your house on Airbnb or put your house up for rent and get up and go. Because like if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? If you don't do it now, when will you do it? When? When would you do it? You know what I mean? When would you do it? So go and do it now. Go travel. Go travel and do all the things, meet the people, eat the food, try to learn the language, even if you learn just a little bit, just immerse yourself in the culture um while you can. Go and do it because it pays off down the line. And I can tell you this because I'm on the other side of it. After having done that in my 20s, it really has it served me very well. I have acquaintances that live abroad. I I have a worldview. I have a global worldview of the world. And it's just so much more cultural. If you're at a dinner party and something comes up and you just have something to contribute to the conversation, it's gonna pay the the investment in traveling will pay a lifetime of dividends to you. I promise you. It will just pay and pay and pay and pay. So like that's probably the biggest thing that I could tell you. And if you're in college, study abroad, okay? At least one semester. But if you can go away for a year and study abroad, do it a full year. Because even if you graduate a little bit later, like if you don't do like exactly 4 years, I promise you it's going to pay off because it looks amazing on your resume that you studied at an international university, right? And then do stuff when you're there. Don't just hang out with Americans. Do stuff while you're there. Like, for me, I joined a martial arts and performing group when I was studying abroad at one of the places that I was at. And then another time I ended up well, the people that I was staying with, like, they were super religious, so I ended up joining like a church group and tagging along with them for that. But on the positive side, it gave me access to instant community, like people just like inviting you to their house for dinner. Trust me, when you travel abroad, you need to be in a situation where you can go and eat at people's homes, where you can go and see, how do you greet people? What do you do when you come inside the door? Like, how do people interact with one another? Um, what is a typical meal, in that particular culture for dinner? What's a typical meal for lunch? Um, how do the generational people interact with each other? You can't really know that unless you're in people's homes. So you have to be there long enough to develop relationships with people to where they can invite you over for dinner. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Don't just do the like run in and run out traveling, which that's good. I'm not, that's a good, it's good to do to vacation, but the type of traveling I'm talking about is really um getting cultured. And the one thing about learning other people's culture is it will really teach you to appreciate your own. Because I never really realized how much Black folks have a culture until I traveled abroad. And I was like, oh, y'all are loud the way we're loud. Or like, oh, y'all are, y'all, do da 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 like we do, and like, oh, y'all have weird, y'all have special funerals. Like black folks do funerals a specific type of way, right? That is very black American. Whether you're in the South, there might be like a Southern way to do it and like, or whatever. But like black folks, like that particular rite, like the burial rite, like black folks do it a certain way. And that is our culture. And I think, we can kind of take a lot of that for granted because we're like, oh, we're just American, or, oh, we're whitewashed. And, sometimes I know I used to feel a way about certain things because there are other black cultures, like in Brazil or in Cuba or places like that, where they've retained a little bit more as far as like with music, and they still have like African language embedded in the language. And like, we don't really have that as much. Well, maybe you could argue that the Gullah Geechee people do, but and just in general, we don't have that as much. And so I was like, oh, they have way more culture than we do. But like, once you really observe other people's culture up close and personal, you realize how much culture you really do have. And you start to appreciate it. You start to appreciate your own culture more when you can appreciate other people's culture and respect other people's culture. Don't y'all love um this rant? I mean, this like tangent I've gone on. Subscriber says, I plan to stay child free and travel for all my days. Great stream. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, some of y'all have absolutely no intention of having children. I have a little bit of everybody on here. I have women who don't want children. I have women who do want children. I have women who already have children. And we all get along. Isn't it amazing? We all get along over here because I think at the end of the day, the ultimate objective is the elevation of Black woman. That is the whole point and purpose of everything that we're doing. And so, Black women who have children to be elevated, Black women who don't have children and who don't want them to be elevated, Black women who don't yet have children but want them to be elevated. That is the whole point. And it's not to demean or like downgrade anybody for their choice and path in life. So yeah, we all get along. we we all get along over here. And so that is amazing. Silver says some ladies in the chat have not seen I haven't seen in a while. Oh hey, yeah. I'm glad everybody's able to kind of like say hello and have this impromptu. And I was telling them earlier, Selfish Love, that I wanted to go live last night when I was like excited, but I was exhausted. I just fell asleep. I literally just fell asleep. And over the weekend, I was also exhausted. Like, I'm trying to think about what the heck I had going on. Oh, well, me and uh, oldie but goodie had a whirlwind reconnection. So that kind of zapped me out a little bit. And yeah, so it was like a two, actually it was a 3-day date. It was like Friday, and then I saw you again on Saturday, and then I saw you again on Sunday. So I was just exhausted. I was exhausted because I wanted to come on live and so that we could do the dating guidelines. I wanted to do that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it Saturday night, or I'll do it Sunday evening. And just each time I was just exhausted. This has been a very busy week. We have a very prestigious fundraiser coming up in my community for the school, and I have procrastinated about that, and so I've kicked it into high gear this week to like do the things that I said I would do because tear my ass with these people. Um, I just don't want to tear my ass. So it's very important that even though it's late, that I honor and I like commit to doing everything that I said I would do. And I'm almost done doing everything that I said I would do for this event. It's a very big event at the country club, and it's important to me that I maintain these relationships. So that's kind of zapped me. for energy. And yeah, that's about it. So, ladies, I'm so glad that y'all are able to tune in. And it was really great to check in. Hey, it's my sister from another Mr. Mocha Mommy. Hey, Mocha Mommy. Love that I give the ladies so much honest information. I try my best. I try my best. That is definitely my intention. And, one of the things that I always set out to do on this channel was to be an example. Like, I was a pick me, I was a black male worshiper, I was black power, I was, spiritual, like in the I've contorted myself. Everything that BMs had asked me to do, I did it. Everything that I was asked to do, I did it. Um, they just like the list of things to contort yourself to like quote unquote get a man and keep a man. The list is never ending of the things that you need to do. There are things that you need to compromise. There are things that you need to live without. There are things that you need not to expect. There are things that you need to sacrifice. It's just like sacrifice, struggle, stress, drama, pain. I did all of that. And, you know, I can say it doesn't work. And if I can live my life in a different way, if I can go from being black power, black male worshiping to being pro black woman, anybody can. Literally anybody can. Anybody can. And so that's what I wanted to come on here and to show. And also want to show that in the black community, um, like children degrade you, like children lower your value and all of these crazy things. But my experience is that that is not true in other communities. If you are a woman of a certain age and you are dealing with men of a certain age, uh, they pretty you to have some kids. You know what I mean? They expect you to have children, and it's not a big deal. Nobody cares about your kids like that. It's not like they don't care about your kids. It's just they're not going to be like, oh, well, you have a kid, so therefore you deserve less than this woman over here who doesn't. Or like there's no hierarchy about who has kids and who doesn't have kids. Kids are just seen as a part of life and community, and they're expected to be here. You know what I mean? By like people who are of the age like the children would have been here. It's just expected. It's not a big deal. So, and that's another thing that I wanted to demonstrate on the channel is that children will not stop you from leveling up your life. And having a child, especially a daughter, is even more reason to level up your life. It's even more of a reason to level up your life so that you can be an example for your daughter. Somebody on the channel on one of my lives said that they wanted me to do a live on like um raising hypergamous daughters as a single mother, and I'll put together some thoughts about that. Um I'm early in the game with this, but I have started the process. I most certainly have started the process. So I'll share what I know for now, and I'll share, where I think I'm going to go with things. But it's important for us to be an example um, to our daughters about how we should be treated and what should we expect. And we have to start drilling them, and we have to start. What is a better word than indoctrinate? If someone can think of a better word, let me know. But until then, I'm just going to say we have to indoctrinate them with their own self worth and their value and help them understand, make them understand what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in terms of who they can bring home. Okay. And the life that they are entitled to live and how they can get it. Those things are extremely important to instill in them. everything that wasn't instilled into us that led us into, for those of, not everyone went down a bad path, but for those who got really derailed from their purpose in life, and who were just sort of like here to like just be jerked around by, non-committal BMs, and, just the drama and the pain and the exploitation and servitude that is involved with those kind of dusty relationships. Um, instilling the direct opposite into your daughter so that she can hopefully avoid those things. That is definitely the intention. Yep, absolutely. Um, so where was I? I totally lost my train of thought. Daughters, I don't remember. But yeah, somebody was just saying like to have a conversation about single moms and um, how we're raising our daughters differently than what we were raised. And so I have some initial thoughts on that for sure. Um, is that, yeah, I think that energy of just like the archetype of the jealous mother that sabotages her daughter. I think that's played out. I don't know that millennials are doing that. I don't really see that millennials and Gen Z girls or women are doing that to their daughters. I don't see that. And I know many single moms. I also live in a bubble too of like healthy people. So there's that. Y'all, side note, have y'all seen those groups on Facebook? Those like, are we dating the same guy? Are you dating my husband? Have y'all seen those groups? So when I'm talking to y'all and when I'm, dealing with my different level up groups and stuff like that, I live in a bubble of intelligent women who are discerning and who are curious about life and who aspire to ascend, right? And so that's the bubble that I live in. But if you go to these groups, my goodness, you understand kind of like how these guys are getting over on like women because of like the pick me behavior, the oh, child, I don't lack of due diligence, lack of, discernment, lack of standards of any kind. And you kind of see how they go back and forth with each other for so long. You're like, oh, okay, I live in a bubble, but these kinds of women still exist. And I would say the majority of them don't desire, like, they're not seeking out level up channels. They're not seeking out, they're just not. Like, there's a lot of women who are not seeking out that kind of information. They are somewhat happy with where they are and they just want a companion on the road where they're at, and they're perfectly fine with it. I mean, I've seen them giving these dudes money, giving Tyrone's money. I've seen them moving these guys in their house with their kids after knowing them for 2 weeks. Um, just all kinds of stories. Like it's entertaining, but it's sad. It's just like it's sad, and it just helps me. It puts in perspective of like, wow, we really are different. We really are different. We are cut from a different cloth. We have decided to go down a different path. When you actually are intelligent and you are intelligent and you seek intelligence, and when you carry yourself a certain way and you expect to be treated a certain way, and there are some guardrails around your heart, and there are some, just discernment and vetting that has to happen before you would feel comfortable, allowing someone to come into your life. And even just initially, just to even have a conversation. Y'all know what I discovered. I'm very bougie about grammar. I'm very particular about grammar. Um, I just am. And one thing that I noticed with a lot of these horror stories about, oh, he stole my credit card, oh, he wrecked my car, he's married to three different women in different states. All these horror stories, when these ladies post the initial profile of these guys, it's like Ebonics Central. It is the most incoherent, uh, you know, bios available. And although he can't speak English, she moved forward with him anyway. And her life like was damn near destroyed. So, and I've seen that 10 times out of 10. So, are you being picky by expecting someone to be able to speak good English? No, you are not. Okay? Because you have no idea what you could be saving yourself from. I'm not saying that every smart guy that can like write and complete sentences that are grammatically correct is an angel or a knight in shining armor or good, but I'm just saying it, when you just want to weed out a large I bet there's this the guy that's trying to get me to go out today is Australian. I bet you that's him calling. Yep, it is. But the thing about the Australian guy is he should have made up his mind a long time ago. It's too late now. I'm about to put a mask on and go to sleep. Um, what was I saying? So if you just want to weed out a bunch of if you want to disqualify a large group of men at one time, just require that they be able to speak good English and have good grammar. And that will eliminate a lot just right there. Just right there. That will eliminate a lot. I have some screenshots. Maybe I will post them on the community board. But I'll read you one right now. Let me pull up my I'm just gonna pull up I'm just taking screenshots of like people that I would disqualify immediately. Uh, oh no, that's not what I need. I need to find my picture stash. I need to find my gallery. But it's not gonna be, it's gonna be my like screenshots. Where is it? I just want to at least read one or two of them. This is like my backup phone, so I'm not as familiar with it as my main phone. Oh, I think I told y'all I had to get another phone because one of the apps like banned me. So I had to get a whole new phone. Photos, here we go. Not where is the screenshot? I mean, where are my screenshots? Oh, here it is, screenshots. No thanks. Oh, how am I gonna I need to email these pictures to myself so that I can post them because I don't have YouTube on this phone. But this is the phone where I have the app where um I've been snapping some pictures of these profiles. Anyway, one of them was like, I'm a high value man, and this was a WM. The thing about these dusty males and this dusty tour, some of them are teaming up. Like I'd seen a lot of I'd seen quite a few white guys mention there's this one question on a dating app. It's like, I quote too much from, those little prompts that they get you to fill out. And it was like, I quote too much from, and then you can kind of fill in the blank. There were quite a few white guys that said Kevin Samuels. So the the dusty, demographics are definitely coming together. So I've seen stuff like, oh, I don't want a feminist. I want an independent woman who's fun, fit, and feminine. You already know to swipe left on that. You already know if they're like fun, fit, and feminine. You already know what they listen to. You already know that they're in the manosphere. You already know that they're going to be trash. So just swipe left, block, delete. If and I've seen another I saw a white guy say, "I'm a high value." I just delete, block, block. Um, the guy that I met last night is a millionaire, multimillionaire. He would never describe himself as high value. Um, Oldie but goodie, wealthy, generous, has never asked me to be fun, fit, or feminine, and has never referred to himself or any of his colleagues as high value men. I've never heard wealthy men talk about that ever in my life. I've just never heard it. I've never heard it. So I would say to screenshots, found it. Okay. Okay, so listen to this. It says the profile. It says sarcastic smartass, two masters, 100 plus countries, unvaxxed and unafraid, pronouns, masked, leftist, feminist, and he has a hand emoji going to the left. Then he says fit, feminine, and fun. He has a hand emoji going to the right. 5% self made. Fitness and health important. Young or young at heart. No sugar babies or OnlyFans. Say more than hey. Now, immediately, he says he's a sarcastic smartass. That in and of itself is a reason to block and swipe left. I find that guys that lead with negativity are just trouble and problems. Like, you're not, listen, this is an opportunity to put your best foot forward. This is an opportunity to present yourself respectably to a high quality woman, a beautiful, intelligent, well traveled, well educated, sultry woman. You want to lead with your best. So if the best you have is sarcastic smartass, definitely leave this guy alone. Like, eh, this is just a trash. Okay, here's another one. Do people still do cover letters looking for some? Oh, no, that's a good one. This is a good one. This guy says he's looking for someone to take out for dinner on Valentine's. I would swipe right on him, and I probably did actually. That's a good example. Okay, here's a bad example. He says, I'm not an anti-masker. I just liked Ace Ventura more. High valued guy. No kids, great career, home, car, dog, missing someone to share with. So, high valued guy, no kids, I'm out. And it's not like no kids isn't like a relevant piece of information, but guys want brownie points for literally not procreating. Like, I've told you, I think that procreation is I think it's neutral for the most part. Unless you have too many kids. Like if you're a guy, obviously you have 8 different baby mamas. That's, um hopefully I haven't muted myself. Am I muted? I'm gonna have to do a playback. If you have like a bunch of different baby mamas everywhere, obviously that's a negative. But just like literally having kids, it's neutral. Like, okay, you have kids, but are you a good dad? If you're a good dad, that's a positive. But just the fact of having children doesn't make it's not good or bad. If you do not have children, that is not good or bad. It's just neutral. Okay, so you don't have children, but are you a quality person? Are you smart? Are you successful? What about you? Beyond the fact that you don't have kids. If the only thing that you can tell me about yourself that's positive is, I ain't got no kids, I automatically think low of you because I think that you think low of yourself. You have nothing to offer the world besides the fact that you haven't procreated. That's it. That's all you got. Like, you know, that's a relevant piece of information, but that doesn't tell me who you are as a person. you know, that doesn't tell me very much about you. But in that dusty world, They want to be praised for like not having children. And they want some type of access, or they want some type of special privileges or special status for not having children, to the point that there are Dusties who have children who won't claim them so that they can have this like um title of not having kids. It's crazy. So anyway, that's definitely somebody that I would swipe left on. I would block. Do I have any more? Um, y'all, I'm gonna have to post this. Have y'all noticed that these BMs are lightening up their pictures and like putting filters on to make themselves look like racially ambiguous? Please tell me I'm not the only one who's noticed this. Please tell me that I'm not the only one who has noticed this. It is getting out of control. I have two different bandits on my phone right now that I took screenshots of. I'm not going to post the pictures on the I'm not going to post them on the page because I don't really do pictures. I do like words, but not like people's pictures. Anyway, they he has they have lightened up their skin. They have bleached themselves out. They have put a heavy filter on to make themselves look racially ambiguous. I believe that they're really feeling the burn of women just not wanting to deal with them. So they try to pretend to be like racially ambiguous or mixed or I don't know what. This other guy calls himself high value. This guy says, I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. I have my hard times. I have my struggles. I have been a failure at times. I love deeply, trust everyone till given a reason not to. I love God. You know, they have to throw God in there. My family, my friends, my country, and total strangers. I really would give you or anyone in need the very shirt off my back. Um, this is a big fat no. What is the first thing that he says out of his mouth? I am not perfect. Second sentence, I am a sinner. Third sentence, I have my hard times. Fourth sentence, I have my struggles. Fifth sentence, I have been a failure at times. Listen, this is telling you everything that you need to know to run away. Just block, delete, do not like this is not worth engaging with. This is just listen, anybody that talks about struggle, just go. A man should not be coming to you offering struggle. I don't care what color he is. This is not a BM that wrote this crap. Talking about struggles and hard times. No, just leave. Um, so some of the women on those are you dating my husband? Are we dating the same man? Some of those dramas and traumas, the guys have profiles like this. The guys have profiles like this, and the women swipe right anyway because they ignore those first five things that I said and they want to focus on the I love deeply and trust everyone until given a reason not to. I love God. And they're like, oh, he loves God. Let me swipe right. And they'll ignore the first part of what he said. Like, I love God is such an empty statement. People like this, they use God to disarm you. They think that, oh, I'll say like, oh, I love the Lord or I fear the Lord. I'm a God-fearing man. And those are just buzzwords. Those be the biggest devils. Those be the most mischievous, demonic entities are the ones that want to disarm you with these code words. Like they have not demonstrated the love of God. They have not demonstrated um being in service of community, women and children. They just say, I love God, I love the Lord, I'm God fearing, I have a relationship with God. No one can verify your relationship with God. You know what I mean? Like that's not verifiable. The only thing that we can see is what you do with your hands. What do you do with your works? What are you doing? What are you constructing? Do you volunteer? Do you donate? You know, what are you doing? That's the only thing that we can see. We cannot You cannot tell us, "Oh, I love God. I have a relationship with God. I'm God fearing." It means nothing. Those be the biggest devils. Those be the biggest devils. So I believe that women will ignore everything that was said at the beginning and focus on the end, or they think that they can change him, or I'm going to be different. I'm going to be the special woman that he needs to get out of these struggles and trials and tribulations, and I'm going to be the special one to nurture him back. You'd be surprised with some of these girls, some of the conversations that they have. Or you know what, a lot of times what I see on those groups, "Oh, I was with this guy and he spent the night and and then everything was going great, and then I didn't hear from him ever again. What do y'all think happened? What's going on?" And it's like, girl, I know you weren't like, you didn't get the memo. Like, you found him on Tinder, you hooked up with him within 2 or 3 nights. He got what he wanted, and now he's on to the next. Like, you're really on here in 2023 asking a group of strange women that you don't know why the guy ghosted you? Come on. Come on. Please. So, yeah, y'all, those groups are eye opening to say the least. They are eye opening. I have a breakfast date tomorrow with Real Estate Bay. He told me he went shopping for me. You know, Real Estate Bay is cool, but he's very controlling. He- I, I I noticed that he's controlling. It's not overt, but it's like a covert control. Like, he wants to shop for me and pick out stuff. He does not want to give me money for me to do what I want to do with it. He will spend any amount of money for us to do whatever. Maybe like 2 weekends ago, we had this like super luxury spa experience. He will spend any amount of money, but he will not just put money in my hand. Oof, oof, oof. We're gonna have to come to some type of agreement on this because I, that does not work for me. Okay, that's just, if that's how you want to do it, that don't work for me. That don't work for me. I can't do this. So I'll see what he has for me tomorrow, but I just rather have the cash. I rather just have the money. Really. I mean, because it's like oldie but goodie shops for me, but I tell him exactly what I want. I send him screenshots. You know, I want this from this store. I want this from that store. Like, I'm very specific about what I want because I know he cannot just go to the mall and buy me what I would want. He don't like he's guys, most guys are not good at that. But like this guy, he just like buys whatever he wants me to have. He doesn't I feel like he doesn't even care if like that's what I want. It's like in his mind, he's like, this is what I want for you. So this is what I'm going to buy you. And ew, it's just, it's not working for me, y'all. It's not working for me. Anyway, we have a date tomorrow morning. I'm going to see what he has, and we need to have a conversation about this because this is not sustainable at all. This is not sustainable. And then Oldie but Goodie and I have some logistics to run. I gotta move some stuff from one place to another. And the next day I have a date with Attorney Bay. And then Saturday, probably Saturday, I will have a date with Restaurateur Bay. Restaurateur Bay. So anyway, that's my lineup for the week. So I think Oldie but Goodie's going out of town. He has something to do. I might see him Thursday. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? I might see him Thursday evening before he goes out of town on Friday. If I can swing it, I will definitely do that. I'm going to try my darndest. All right, beautiful ladies. Well, it's great having some girl time, having some girl chat with y'all. I'm going to get my life together this evening so that I can be on time to my meeting. The affirmation that I've been telling myself lately is that wealthy people are on time and I am wealthy. Wealthy people are prepared and I am wealthy. Wealthy people show up early and I am wealthy, to kind of get my mind into like being on time, because Lord knows that's my struggle. All right, y'all have a wonderful day or night whenever you catch this live, and we will talk soon. Bye.